What is up, y'all, and welcome back to Limitless Sports TV. Rocking the Braves jersey tonight. They just won 5-4 over the Reds. In this video, we'll be covering the NFC North. My predictions for them for that division in 2019. If you didn't catch the last video, it was my predictions for the NFC East. That link will be in the description. Also, the link in the description to my Instagram. You can go on there and check out. Give me a follow, and you'll be able to see behind the scenes stuff and future uploads and stuff like that. But without further ado, let's get into this. My 2019 NFC North predictions. We're gonna start off with the Green Bay Packers. They brought in a new head coach, so I'm interested to see how this works, being that he is taking over a struggling team, or a team that struggled in 2018, or that seemed to really struggle in 2018. It's hard to tell now, in my opinion, whether Aaron Rodgers is still a top-tier quarterback or if he's starting to lose a step. Other than that, in the free agency, they released one of their defensive linemen, Mike Daniels. If I can recall, if that's who I think it is, then he actually did some pretty good things in Green Bay. So I don't know. They signed Adrian Amos, which is a safety, or who was a safety, and along with a couple other guys who could help out this team on the defensive side of the ball. That's all for the Packers. Getting into their schedule, they opened the season on the road in a Thursday night game against the Chicago Bears, a divisional game. It's going to be wild in week 1, but I see them losing here. But then they go on to win 6 straight. Home against the Vikings, home against the Broncos, home against the Eagles on Thursday night, at the Cowboys, and then home against Lions and home against the Raiders. So the Lions game is a Monday night game. So good start for the Packers. Then they lose to the Chiefs on the road on Sunday night. They lose to the Chargers on the road. They lose to the Panthers at home. Then they win 4 straight at the 49ers, at the Giants, at home against the Redskins, and at home against the Bears. Then they lose the final 2 games of the season on the road at the Vikings on Monday night and on the road at the Lions to finish their season. So they finished the season with a 10-6 record. Moving on to the Vikings. This video could take a little bit longer. I'm not sure because I got really in depth with some of these notes. But moving on to the Vikings, I feel like this team should be better than they actually are based off their roster and how this team looks on paper. Kirk Cousins' first year in Minnesota did not go as good as it was projected to go. This team was looking good in 2017 when they got embarrassed by the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. They were actually my Super Bowl pick before that season started. I seen them going to the Super Bowl, and then they got embarrassed. So, and they haven't been the same since then. But the Packers would have lost all control over this division if the Vikings would do what they're supposed to do and do what they could do what they could potentially do. With the weapons they have, the Packers would already be on the back burner in this division. I know a few Packers fans, and if you're watching this video, you know who you are and you know what I'm talking about. And you know I'm right. They signed Bené Benwickery. I watched him play a lot when he was in Carolina. He started to look like a really good corner, but then he got hurt and he hasn't been the same since. He's been kind of average since then. But their schedule looks like this. They're at home against the Falcons and away at the Packers. The first 2 weeks they lose. Then they beat the Raiders at home, lose to the Bears on the road, lose to the Giants on the road, and lose to the Eagles at home. They beat the Lions on the road. They lose to the Redskins at home on Thursday night. They lose to the Chiefs on the road. They lose to the Cowboys on Sunday night. They beat the Broncos at home. They lose to the Seahawks on Monday night. They beat the Lions at home. They lose to the Chargers on Sunday night. They beat the Packers on Monday night at home. And then they lose to the Bears at home to close their season, finishing their season at 5-11. Moving on to the Bears, Mitch Trubisky is starting to get right in this division in the league, and as a Tar Heels fan, I'm really glad I'm finally being able to say that. They traded for Khalil Mack last year, and the Bears looked solid until the playoffs. When Cody Parker decided that the season had gone on too long, the Bears hadn't been good since 500 years, and he said we shouldn't even be here right now. Let's just wrap this up and go home. So after that, the Bears were like, bro, you're trash. You need to get a one-way ticket out of Chicago. They released him and signed another kicker named Elliott Fry. They did also get rid of Jordan Howard. They're replacing him with Ty Montgomery. I don't really like that decision, but it's a business. So, other than that, let's get to the schedule. They start off the season really good. They start off, I say, 5-0. They open the season at home against the Packers on Thursday night. They win. They beat the Broncos on the road, beat the Redskins on the road on Monday night. They beat the Vikings at home and beat the Raiders on the road. They lose 3 straight at this point. Saints at home, Chargers at home, and Eagles on the road. Then they come back with a few more wins. Beat the Lions at home, beat the Rams on the road. That's a big one on Sunday night. Beat the Giants at home, beat the Lions on the road, beat the Cowboys at home on Thursday night. Then they lose 2 away at the Packers and at home against the Chiefs on Sunday night. And they close their season out with a win on the road against the Vikings, ending their season 11-5. So this division could be really good. Hold on. Y'all are going to come with me because I have to get a charger. Sorry, I'm really close to the camera. Let's see.
But your death is a tragedy because you were going to make the world a better place. And that's how it should be.
Here we go. Got the charger. Got the charger. I record on a phone, so gotta have the charger because it will die. And that would be bad. Okay, so yeah, this division could get really tight, and I feel like it's going to be one of the more crucial divisions in the league this year. I think this division has a chance to possibly have a Super Bowl champion inside of it. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but within the next couple of years, I feel like one of these NFC North teams could be the team to beat. But moving on to the Lions, the final team in this division. In my opinion, Matt Patricia is still not ready to be an NFL head coach. A big thing for them is I think it's just about time to move on from Matt Stafford. The Lions just need to go out in next year's draft. Get a quarterback, second or third round, maybe fourth. Not somebody that you want, not a quarterback you want to come in and start right away and throw him into the league. Just someone that you can use as a backup. Go out, get a quarterback, keep him in that backup spot, second or third string. Put him in a couple preseason games, some meaningless late regular season games, because the Lions are not in playoff contention right now. They're not a playoff team at the moment. So the late regular season games, you don't really need to win. So it'd be nice if you could win, but you don't really need to. So go out, get you a quarterback, put him in some preseason games, some late regular season meaningless games, so that way he can have some experience. He can get a feel for the league and how things are done in the NFL, and he can progress over time. When Stafford's contract ends, let him walk or sign him again as a backup, move him down in the depth chart, put that new guy in the starting spot and let him do his thing, open the chute and let him go. Let him run. Go win some ball games. They released Theo Riddick, which I thought was stupid. They did sign quarterback Tom Savage, but he is terrible. They signed Connor Cook, which is the quarterback from Michigan State. I don't know if any of you remember that, or if any of you watch college football or whatever. I don't know if I remember this, but he was the quarterback for the Michigan State team that decided they were going to beat, I think it was Alabama. I want to say it was Alabama. I could be wrong. But it was a pretty big win. It could have been Auburn, but I don't think it was Auburn. I'm pretty sure it was Alabama. No, it was Michigan. It was Michigan. So yeah, he was the quarterback for Michigan State at that time. So they signed him. He could be the next guy in the quarterback spot for the Lions. But as of right now, he's on a reserve future contract. For those of you who don't know what a reserve future contract is, basically it's like an insurance policy for a quarterback. It doesn't really affect your cap space, but it for your 53-man roster, so if it don't work out, you don't really lose money or lose anything, because they're not making a lot of money, but it does affect your cap space when it comes to your 90-man roster, which is your training camp roster. What it does is it gives the Lions rights to Connor Cook to where no other team can sign him, but he has to earn his spot on the team in training camp, and he could end up getting cut when it's all said and done. So that's what that is, and it's not really not a real contract. It's a real contract, obviously, but it's really not anything worth anything. They also let go of Glover Quinn, which I thought was also stupid on their part. But on to their schedule. They opened the season with a win on the road against the Cardinals. Then they hit this rough stretch where they lose to the Chargers at home, the Eagles on the road, the Chiefs at home, the Packers on the road on Monday night, a home against the Vikings, and a home against the Giants. So at this point, they're 1-6. They beat the Raiders on the road, lose to the Bears on the road, and the Cowboys at home. They beat the Redskins on the road. They come back home and lose to the Bears. They go back on the road and lose to the Vikings. Then they close their season out with 3 wins. Home against the Buccaneers, on the road against the Broncos, and at home against the Packers. Finishing their season at 6-10. Now, the NFC North in 2018 went like this. The Bears won the division with a 12-4 record. The Vikings came in second at 8-7-1. The Packers finished third with a 6-9-1 record, and the Lions finished fourth with a 6-10 record. In 2019, I predict that finishing fourth is the Vikings at 5-11. Third is the Lions at 6-10. Second is the Packers at 10-6. And first is the Bears at 11-5. So I see them winning that division again. So a few things change in that division, not much though. You know what? This video went by way faster than I thought it was. I thought this was going to be a long video, but it's actually just the length as the last one almost. But yeah, that's my NFC North predictions. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. When softball season gets here, I'll play men's softball. So when the softball season gets here, you might see some vlogs and videos of games. We have a practice next Thursday, so I might make a video on that. Just let me know if that's what y'all want to see. If y'all like to see a practice video of that. Don't forget, when the MLB playoffs start, I'm gonna upload a prediction video with my buddy Tyler. And when the NBA season comes around, I'm gonna do some type of basketball video, probably a prediction video, maybe, I don't know. With this guy named I know named Shaquan. But yeah, the next video coming out will be the NFC West, and at that point I will tell you the final standings for the NFC and tell you who I'm predicting is gonna do what in the NFC and where they're gonna be at in the seeds and who's gonna make the playoffs representing the NFC. So yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe again. I'll see you guys next time.